Hello everybody. If you're watching this video, you're probably first taking an introductory class in GIS methods. Second, very self-motivated and you want to learn something even though you're not in a class. Or third, you are really bored. I don't know that I have much to offer you if you're in that third group. If you're in one of those first two groups though, hopefully I can help you make sense of these first assignments. Before we start though, I do want to tell you that you will learn a lot more if you try and do them yourself and sit there and struggle and try again and try again and try again. It'll take you a lot longer, but at the end you'll know a lot more about GIS than if you just follow along in these videos. There are some other videos out there that just whisk through these chapters very quickly, and I've seen students go through them very quickly and not learn a whole lot. So in order to try in a vain attempt to slow you down and help you learn a little bit more while looking through these assignments and completing these assignments, I'm going to kind of try and talk through some different issues as we go. I'm going to break these assignments up into different separate videos. And, you know, I'll probably just go off on some random tangents and chew up some time so that you can't go too quickly through this video. Alright, so assignment 1-1, page 43 of the GIS Tutorial 1 workbook by Gorr and Kurland. Alright, so we're going to evaluate U.S. housing statistics, it says. So first thing it says is start out with a polygon layer. So this is the most important button in GIS, is this add data button right here. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click it to add data. So now you'll notice that I'm already in the correct folder because I've already gone through this assignment once before. You're going to have to go through and find the right folder. So it is on the C drive in your Esri Press folder, in the GIS T1 folder right here, in the data subfolder, and then if you look at the long address, data/United States.gdb, and then we're going to go into US states. Now, you notice that I can just open this up immediately, but you may have to click on this connect to folder button before you're able to open any of these things. If you haven't opened any of these things on your computer yet, you have to connect to the folder before GIS can actually open the folder. Why? I don't know. Seems like something that would have applied to computers 20 years ago. I don't design the software. All I know is that you have to do it. So U.S. states polygon layer is what we want. So not the state capitals, the U.S. states right here. So you just double click that, open it up, and boom, you got all the states right in front of you. Alright, so the first thing we got to do before anything else is we got to save it. So file and then save as. Alright, and so we're going to go into the C drive here and the Esri Press folder and the GIS T1 folder, and the My Assignments folder, and Chapter 1. Alright, so how I want my students to save their assignments is just as I've done it here. Your last name, and then the exercise number. So 1-1 is this map. Okay, now you'll have to remember to periodically save by clicking the little save icon here so you don't lose everything. Alright, so the next step. We want to change the color of the states. So it says that we want to make the states have a hollow fill and a medium gray outline. So before I do it, what do you think you would change? If you've hopefully done the tutorial already from chapter 1, you've gone through and you've done some of the color changing stuff. So you notice this little box right here is the same color with the same outline as all the states, and that's because this is symbolizing how this layer is how this layer looks on the document. So if you right click on this, you notice that you can choose the layer or choose the colors right here. But we don't want to change just the color, we want to also change the border. So if you left click on it, it'll bring up a menu where you can change both the color and the outline color. So it says the color we want hollow right here. So that's pretty easy to find. You just click on hollow. Now you want a medium gray outline. So if you left click on this outline color box here, it gives you everything between white and gray and everything else. So I don't know, medium gray, I guess we'll go gray 50%. That seems pretty medium to me. Click here, hit OK. So now you see you got the states, they're all hollow, which since the background is white, they look white, and then they're outlined with gray. So it looks a little bit more pleasing to the eye than it did before. Alright, so the next step says we want to highlight the 5 states with the highest vacancy rates. So before I do it, again, you should stop and think, how would we highlight these states? So hopefully, what you're thinking is, we got to find the attribute table. The attribute table will display all the data that's underlying this map here. So the easiest way to find the attribute table, right-click on the layer and do Open Attribute Table. Alright, now you may be overwhelmed. Oh my goodness gracious, we got a whole lot of stuff here. Look at all this stuff. Alright, so before you give up, what would we need to find if we want to find the 5 states with the highest vacancy rates? So it mentions a number of variables in the assignment, including one that's named vacant, which is the number of vacant housing units per state. So the first thing we have to do is we have to find that variable. So these are the variable names here: state name, state FIPS, subregion, etc. So we got to go over to vacant and just keep looking and keep looking and keep looking and keep looking. Did you see it? I went past it. I'm testing you. There it is. Right there. Alright, so you notice when you have this much data that you're working with, you might find it easier if you click on this and drag it to the closer to the front, so you don't have to scroll through so much. So if you click it once and then wait a second, click it again, now you'll see this. See right under the cursor, there's a little tiny box that appears. That means you can move it. So now we start dragging it, and wherever that red line appears, that's where it'll go. And so you can pull all the way to the left, go all the way to the front of the document. Let's put it like right here after the population. And that's vacant. Alright, so now we want to sort by vacant. There are a couple different ways of doing this. Again, hopefully you know this from the tutorial. So stop and think to yourself, how could we sort by highest vacancy to lowest vacancy? Actually, I shouldn't say highest to lowest, I should say most to least to fewest number of vacant units in the state. So the way that it tells you to do it in the tutorial is to right click on it and hit sort ascending or sort descending. The faster way to do it is if you just click on the title, or I'm sorry, wait, if you double click on the title, it'll sort. So see, now it's smallest to largest, double click again, now it's largest to smallest. Alright, so now we want to select the 5 highest totals here. So you click on one and it selects one. If you hold the control key and click on another, it selects another, and another, and another, and another, and whoops, that was 6, not 5. So now all you have to do is keep holding the control key and click the one that you selected that you didn't mean to. So now we have 5 states selected: Florida, Texas, California, New York, Pennsylvania. Alright, so this isn't necessary for this assignment, but in the future you might find it useful to click down here where it says Show Selected Records, and now you see only these 5, which kind of clears some of that clutter up a little bit. Alright, and so now the next step is that we want to outline all 5 of these states in red, it says. So let's close this box. Well, I already changed my settings, so they're already red on my map. But your map, they'll probably be purple, I think, is the default color. So if you go to Selection right here, and Selection Options, you got all sorts of options here, including choose the color you want selected features to be shown with by default. And so you can choose any of these colors you want. So if I wanted mine to be purple, I would do this. Since I want mine to be red, I'm going to go back into that. I'm going to choose red again. I'll go with Go with the Mars red, why not? Alright. Live a little dangerously today. Okay, so now, boom, we're done. Nope, wait, we're not done. Labels. Never forget about labels. So, how would we label these states? What would we do? It says we got to label it by the state abbreviation. So that means you got to get out your pencil and write in WA for Washington, OR for Oregon. This is going to take you a while, right? Except that there's a fast way to do it. So, if you were paying attention to your tutorial, you should know that this is actually quite easy to do. So why don't you stop for a second and think about how you would do that. Would you click on selection? No, we already did that. Insert? No, not inserting anything. Bookmarks? No, we're not creating a bookmark. View? No. Edit? No. You don't see label under any of these, do you? Now, what if you right click on this? Now do you see a label option somewhere? Label features right here. So click on that. Alright, so that didn't do abbreviation though, did it? That gave us the whole name and we want the whole name. So we got to go back to this here. Do you see any other way that we could label this somewhere? Okay. So, have you figured it out yet? Instead of right-clicking, we want to double-click on this. And this will bring us up more options. See all this stuff? We'll get into that stuff later. Labels right here. So, if this box is unchecked, you got to check on label features in this layer. Label all the features the same way. And then we got to label them by state abbreviation. So this is state _ aber. That is the state abbreviation right there. So select that one. If you want to change your font, make it look fancy, go for it. Otherwise, just hit OK. Or actually, it's probably better practice to hit apply and see what it looks like first. So you can see this looks like it did it correctly. So we're going to hit OK. Now we're out of it. Everything's correct. It's weird that we have two Michigans, but, you know, other than that, everything looks pretty correct here. So, now, the last step for this is to actually put the map into our Word document for our assignment. Now, if you do not have me as your instructor, and you were given other instructions for how to do this, then you might not want to listen to this part. But for my students, all you're going to do is go to File and Export Map. And then, so I've already gone into the As We Pressed GIS T1 folder, My Assignments Chapter 1. I've already created this map once. I'll just save this one as Bauer 1-1. Alright, so save. And, oh, and I forgot to mention that when you do it, you should probably try to make sure that you're exporting it as JPEG down here for save as type. Okay? Alright, so now you want to go to your Word document here. So I got this blank Word document right here. So now you want to insert a picture into your Word document. So this is pretty simple. You insert and then picture, and then you got to find the document you just created. So again, you got to find the right place. So you got to go to the C drive, GIS T1, or the As We Press folder, GIS T1, My Assignments, Chapter 1. Or, you know, if you want to keep it somewhere else, you can keep it somewhere else. But if you just follow all the instructions in the book, then you won't forget where things are. Alright, so then double click on this, and boom, there it is. And so maybe you want to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it a little easier, that's fine. But there it is, it's in your Word document. So, that concludes this lesson. This is Corey Bungie Bauer saying good night and good luck.